Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and today I wanted to talk about Creator Clash. Now for those of you who don't know, Creator Clash is I guess it's supposed to be a yearly for charity boxing event run by iDubbbz and Anisa. But ladies and gentlemen, it's one of those things where the community gets together, they watch a few creators beat the crap out of each other, and the money goes to charity, and overall it's a pretty good net positive. Now, for me, I love looking at these things in the community because at the end of the day, it's something nice, it's something big for a lot of people in this influencer space, in this internet video space, which oftentimes is one of the biggest things that we're able to do, right? Like, you know, a lot of the outside mainstream community doesn't necessarily take this stuff too seriously, and while they're having their own award shows and their own little events, this is a nice big event for everyone in the community. You could be from this side of the community, you can be in the cooking channels community, you could be all the way in like the tech channel sphere, and people will just come together to watch people beat the crap out of one another. It's just a wholesome event. Now, of course, one of the biggest problems yesterday happened with Creator Clash 2, where 3 weeks out from the fight, they actually kicked off one of their fighters. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is Froggy Fresh, okay? Now, I really hope they do drug testing over there at these fights, because god damn, that physique is a little bit wild. Now, if that face looks familiar to you, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I knew it instantly was Froggy Fresh is an OG. Some would call him the baddest of the bad. Yeah, this is back in the Ray William Johnson days. 10 years ago this video was uploaded. God, do I feel old. Now, of course, Froggy Fresh was up here trying to fight Chris Raygun, and unfortunately, because of his internet antics, he seems to be removed. Now, Creator Clash puts out, there's been a change in the lineup, and Froggy Fresh will no longer be fighting against Chris Raygun. We will announce his replacement in the coming days, with just 3 weeks left. Yeah, it's pretty massive. Now, to understand, Creator Clash is not a mainstream event. Nobody from outside the internet space, as far as my personal experience goes, really knows about this shit. If I go out to my friends who have nothing to do with the internet and I tell them what Creator Clash is, they'll look at me like I've gone full schizo. Now, of course, this is very much an event for the community. And you can see the community has given their almighty ratio, if you will. Now, of course, we found this a little bit weird. And of course, I wanted to come here and contextualize just how this actually broke down. Now, of course, Froggy Fresh on March 23rd, I guess you could say, when I saw this posted, had some statements to make, so we're going to listen closely. This is going to add some legitimacy to the situation.
If I don't hurt you beyond what anybody could have imagined, I will be so disappointed in myself that I will subscribe to Anisa's OnlyFans.
Now, of course, this is a little jab to Chris Raygun. Now, of course, I could bring up like 20 years worth of like internet lore about this, but just to give you an idea, obviously, if you haven't been following the iDubbbz stuff for a while, about a year, 2 years ago at this point, iDubbbz was pretty much roasted by a community that he fostered for basically capitulating to like OnlyFans stuff. Now, to be honest with you, I don't really care. I think it's really, really weird when people on the internet psychoanalyze like two people's relationships, when realistically all they ever know about them is what's available on camera and whatnot. But of course, iDubbbz and the whole like cuck allegations and the talks and basically people crapping on him for having a partner that does OnlyFans is something that still hasn't gone away. And at the end of the day, I don't really care about that. If your partner wants to do OnlyFans, go for it. I've had my own take about this when that situation happened. Personally, that situation isn't for me, but I'm not iDubbbz, I'm not Anisa. Clearly, it seems like they're in a clearly healthy relationship. If they're both still together, doesn't really matter. Anyways, this jab is mostly a jab. It's a little bit of an insult. Let's not play stupid in this situation. So, of course, Froggy Fresh does a little bit of an insult, which, to be honest with you, I say it's an insult, but this really doesn't sound that big of a deal. Like, when I first saw this, I kind of thought that, they're having some playful jabs. She's clearly a promoter for the fight. I get it. They're trying to have some like internet beef. They're trying to hype up the event. Usually with a lot of these fights, you're going to have some internet beef hyped up. That's what drives a lot of traffic to a lot of these situations. I know when I want to see people beat the crap out of each other up in a boxing ring, they probably should have some beef. Now, of course, I don't know why Froggy Fresh is talking about Anisa's OnlyFans, given the fact that he's not beating her up and vice versa. He's going up against Chris. But of course, this didn't sit well in the situation. Now, of course, the next part involves Anisa's mom, apparently. coming into the ring, if you will, no pun intended, and calling out old Froggy Fresh. Now, of course, in this situation, you can see that there were some tweets that were made. He wouldn't have the fight if not for her. That's why, numbnuts. Obviously, she's in a bit of a defense towards her daughter in this situation. It kind of makes sense. You can understand it from this perspective. Of course, Froggy Fresh says, yo, hit me up to beat up your daughter's BF, Lamau. Obviously, he's referring to fighting iDubbbz in this situation. Now, of course, she also says, hope it's about replacing the imp in response to her daughter when it comes to any further developments on this fight. Of course, Froggy Fresh was like, better a imp than a pimp. Shout out your boy, iDubbbz, Anisa, come get your mom. So, of course, honestly, I kind of sat here and thought, at this point, it's not really playful banter. Maybe there is like some actual jabs going on. And I kind of wondered what would happen. Maybe they would go into a Discord call. Maybe they would talk about this like professionals. But of course, the situation escalated. So, of course, here you can see Anisa's mom has typed in, classic case of brain damage. Better have that looked at along with your shrunken body. Wow. Oh, man. I'm so glad my mom doesn't get on to defend. She'd say worse shit, to be honest with you.
Guess what, Internet? I got even more news for you. Something I didn't even say about last night. Anissa's mom also made another tweet at me. She tweeted, classic case of brain damage. Better have that looked at along with your obviously shrunken balls. First off, when I did hit my head on them monkey bars, yeah, I did get hurt a little bit, but when I got the scan done, they said I was still smart. Second off, as far as with that second thing that you said about my privates, you have got to clean up your language.
You know, man, honestly, I can't believe I'm taking this even seriously. But of course, the situation escalates at this moment, and it seems as though that, yes, he was in fact removed from the fight. Now, of course, Creator Clash definitely added. Creator Clash's goal is to make an inclusive and fun environment for creators and fans while giving back to charity. That has always been our mission, and Froggy Fresh's recent behavior does not align with that mission. Now, at the end of the day, it's totally up to like the fight promoters, the event hosters, to actually do whatever they want with their fight. But I think from a community perspective, obviously, that bit of banter, those jabs, shouldn't have led to the expulsion of this individual. Clearly, Froggy Fresh was working for 9 months to actually prepare for this fight. And that goes for a lot of people, right? Like when you prepare for things like this, you're giving up a lot of your time, especially knowing that this fight in particular isn't really known for paying out its fighters a whole lot of money. Remember, the money is going to charity. Everybody involved in this situation ultimately wants to help people that need that help, okay? So I heard a lot of people saying because of this, they're going to want to refund their ticket, which is like, you're literally refunding charity money at this point. If you really want to protest it, you might as well not attend the event. Refunding the tickets is only actually harming the people who need that money the most. Now, when it comes to this person over here, do I think the overreaction here is quite heavy? Yeah, 100%. I don't think Froggy Fresh should be removed from a fight that people are kind of genuinely excited for 3 weeks out of it because of some internet Twitter antics. Now, at the end of the day, it's totally up to the fight promoters, and I totally am in defense of like whatever their choice is. If they want to remove him, they absolutely can. I'm just saying it comes across pretty unprofessional given the fact that this happened over the course of literally 24 hours. I was working on a video while I was watching this unfold. I took a little bit of a nap and thought maybe this would have gotten resolved over an internet Discord call. Maybe they would have reined in some of the fucking insanity. But of course, at the end of the day, an emotional decision, it seems, got made, and these people got removed. And of course, the community is not necessarily happy about it whatsoever. And at the end of the day, like I said in the beginning, this is not some mainstream event. If you're going to piss off the community like this, you're probably not looking at a whole lot of creator clashes going forward. And I really want Creator Clash to succeed. I really want a lot of events that influencers create to succeed. But they have to be handled professionally, and they have to be handled in situations where you can't be canceling entire bouts or switching out players 3 weeks out because of some internet Twitter antics. Do I think that Froggy Fresh should have made a jab like that? Clearly, if I have to imagine if he's making a jab like that, he knows that it's going to cut deep in some capacity. It might actually hurt. Maybe he probably shouldn't have made it, 100%. But it shouldn't have been escalated to the point where we're talking about his shrunken balls and his brain damage and all that nonsense. Every party here should have just reined in, took a little bit of, went out, smelled some of that fresh air, and looked at the situation with cooler heads, if you will. Now, honestly, I'm recording this video at like 2 in the morning. Maybe things can be resolved by the time I wake up, and I really hope they are, because ultimately, as it is right now, this is just bad press. It's kind of a shame because the only thing I've heard about Creator Clash 2 at all is this very recently, and it's negative attention. Look, at the end of the day, tons of creators, tons of my favorite friends on the internet have set aside their time to prepare for a fight, prepare their bodies, and ultimately do an amazing event for charity. And it's kind of a shame that right now this event is trending with the worst news imaginable, with the worst image out there. Honestly, I really hope these situations get resolved. I think this is a pretty heavy-handed punishment to deal out. But at the end of the day, I've also heard that this is somewhat in relation to like Sam Hyde apparently being there to train this fighter, and apparently none of the people, Anisa's side and IW's side actually like Sam Hyde in the situation. I don't actually know how true that is, given the fact that Sam Hyde had actually trained Harley last year for this, and there was a bit of a kerfuffle in Sam Hyde even attending the first Creator Clash because he was a brand risk. Honestly, at this point, if they don't like Sam Hyde this much, they might as well put in their contract, do not train with this guy, do not ever interact with this person, because it's only going to lead to bad times. I don't agree with them banning Sam Hyde, period, from these events too. I feel like there's far worse brand risks to go after, but generally the rest of the community kind of looks at this as a bitch move, and it really is. I think it's just embarrassing kicking somebody out when they've trained for 9 months and a little bit of Twitter banter. Obviously, some jabs hurt a little bit harder than they should, and at the end of the day, looking at it from the outside in, it doesn't look as serious as it eventually ended up becoming. But then again, ladies and gentlemen, it's one of those events I want to succeed, and I genuinely don't like the negative press associated with it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Are you going to be attending Creator Clash, or are you going to be boycotting it? I'd actually be interested to know. To be honest, I want to see the sample size from my community, and I want to see the sample size from other communities that are probably going to be talking about this today. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am